Welcome to More Than a Few Words, the video version. This is Lorraine Ball, and today, Simon.
Hello.
And I are going to be talking about SSL. SSL?
SSL certificates. So it's basically an extra added encryption measure on your site so that you get that little extra layer of protection.
And you know, when I say back in the day, a year ago, even, we were telling people, you know what, if you're not doing e-commerce, you don't need an SSL.
Yeah, not necessarily. Actually, the change was made in July of this year. So Google has started to penalize sites for not installing an SSL certificate. And this is, I guess, it's a good thing. SSLs do a vast number of things for your site, including giving your users that extra layer of protection.
And so you can tell when you go to a website, these days, especially if you're using the Chrome browser, you're going to see one of two things in the upper left-hand corner next to the web address. You're going to see an HTTPS, secure, a little padlock,
Right.
Or you're going to see that warning, not secure. And that's scary, right?
A little bit scary. So an SSL does a couple of things. So it will encrypt your private data, as you mentioned, e-commerce. If somebody is giving you credit card information, well, first of all, it's a good idea to have your credit card processed by a third party anyway. But should you be handling anything, even as simple as data collection from a form, you probably want an SSL certificate. So what happens when a user submits data is that data gets sent to multiple places before it reaches its final destination on the web. And along each one of those hops, the information can be stolen. And if it's unencrypted, then that's just what it is. People will be able to grab your credit card numbers, your personal information that they can sell. So it's a good idea to have one.
Absolutely, and even something as simple as just an email address. I've started getting some emails and notifications that my email address has been found on the dark web, and that people are using or attempting to use my email address. And so I'm more concerned about when I'm putting my information in a form, if it's encrypted or not. And Google's even gone one step further with some of our client websites. We had an interesting challenge recently.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, we had a site the other day that didn't have an SSL certificate, and they weren't really doing any heavy lifting in terms of data collection. They weren't even processing any credit cards. They simply had a contact form on their site. So Google saw this, said, hey, they're collecting data, hey, it's insecure, and they marked it as dangerous and essentially took the site completely down. And with the promise of an installation of an SSL certificate, it was brought back up. But that was a good 2-3 days that was down, and that was nuts. It was a major headache that could have been avoided very easily.
And what that looked like is if you typed in their web address, you got a giant red warning. This site is dangerous. And nobody wants that. And so if somebody wants to install an SSL certificate, how complicated is it?
Not all that. Every host worth their salt nowadays is including a Let's Encrypt free SSL certificate. Some are shared, some are dedicated, but major hosts like HostGator or SiteGround, which we like a lot here at RoundPeg, will include that Let's Encrypt certificate. And it's just a matter of getting it issued and getting it connected to your WordPress installation, which if you're having a little bit of trouble, we can help you with. But there are a number of plugins that you can use, like really simple SSL would be the major one that you could just use to flip the switch to HTTPS. Things like Velvet Blue's update URLs will help you kind of shore up some of the URL discrepancies that you get with that change. And even a plugin like SSL Insecure Content Fixer will help get your media in line with that new certificate.
And so I'm going to go back and translate real quickly just what Simon said. When you go from a insecure website to a secure, your address actually changes.
Ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly, but HTTP : insert web address to HTTPS : and so you just want to make sure that all of your redirects are set up correctly, and those plugins that Simon mentioned can help you do that.
Very true.
GoDaddy, you didn't mention, they actually have a little add-on charge, but their initial hosting is so inexpensive.
Right.
But our recommendation, whether you have a little site or a big site, it needs to have an SSL, and it needs to have it today.
Yeah. If you manage a website in 2018, the skinny is that you need an SSL certificate.
Awesome. Okay, if you've enjoyed today's conversation, if you want to know more about updates that you should be making to your website, be sure to check out our blog at roundpeg.biz. Bye, guys.